Hey everyone, welcome to the DTF Superstore live stream. We're talking about all things Mimaki today. We've got the Mimaki DTF printer here. We are going to print on it today for you guys. We've got a camera that's over the print area so you guys can see nice and close what's going on with it. But first, we're going to start with a few announcements. And if you're watching, go ahead and comment below if you have any questions. We'll make sure to answer them during the live stream. And we can see all of them, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or the DTF film, the Direct to Film Facebook group. All those places where we're streaming. So go ahead and ask your questions. We will be sure to answer them. Let's first get into talking about a couple of announcements for DTF Superstore. Our first big announcement is we're opening an East Coast location in York, Pennsylvania. So super exciting. I know a lot of our customers, especially on the East Coast in Florida, shipping times are really long when you order from us here in Arizona. So we're opening up a York, Pennsylvania branch that will support all of our East Coast customers with, what are we, 2-day shipping on that?
Yeah, most of everybody east of the Mississippi is going to be about 2 days. There's some in Florida that'll be 3 days, but it's going to take it down from the 4 or 5 days from Arizona to 2 days for most of the East Coast.
Perfect, awesome. And that location opens October 1st, and we are doing a DTF day at that location on October 27th. I will be there, so if you want to come and just check out the machines we've got, if you're anywhere near the area, I've lived here my whole life, so I don't know much about the eastern area, but I do know that everything's relatively close out there. Like I think about like LA is our closest big metro area, and it's like 8 hours away. I think like there's like 5 or 6 metro areas that are 4 hours away from York, so that should be a lot of fun. So come out and DTF Day, October 27th. There'll be more information on our website. And then another thing we want to talk about is our DTF Boot Camp. Gotta love a live stream. What did we lose?
Your live stream song just came back into my
Solid.
It looks like we're back.
Can you hear us? Let us know in the comments if you can hear us, guys. The joys of live streams. So, boot camp, DTF boot camp. We host boot camp once a month at our Gilbert location. We are discussing the options of hosting it in York, Pennsylvania. So keep an eye out on that. But if you've not been to our boot camp, it's a 2-day in-person hands-on training event where we talk about everything to do with DTF. The basics, we do graphics, like how to optimize your graphics for DTF. We also go into the printers in depth. Whether you've got a machine from us, like a Mongoose, or Raptor, or an older Audley from years ago, or the new Mimaki, we cover all the machines. So if you're producing DTF stuff, that course or that event is a great place to go to learn everything you guys need to know to become a pro. So I think that wraps it up for the DTF Superstore announcements. The big announcement, and you guys we've been carrying this since June, July? When did we ship the first one out?
I think July. We started shipping.
We were really excited when this came out because it really finally gave the industry a reliable, almost plug and play printer that the industry hadn't really seen. And this was a single print head, so it did print slower than our Mongoose machines and some of the other machines that are out there. We were kind of hoping they'd come out with a 2-head eventually, maybe after a while, but they decided to surprise us and they came out with a 2-head already. So if you haven't seen our post on Facebook, Mimaki released the TXF 300-75, which is a 2-head Mimaki printer. So pretty exciting. I think it came a little quicker than I was even expecting.
Yeah, even just a week or so ago, we were told it was going to be late October even for an announcement, and then the morning before, they were like, Japan's going to announce this tomorrow. So we have some on order. We've had them on order for a little bit. There is essentially similar to this printer, but 2 heads. The 2 heads is going to give you about 3 times the speed. and that's because you got double the nozzles, so you're putting down more ink. You can reduce the amount of passes of the print head to get that extra speed, so it'll be more of a production-minded machine than these.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have commented about like the cost difference being like, oh, it's just one extra head, but really what you're buying when you buy these machines is the production output of them. Any kind of DTF printer, you're buying the production output.
Right.
And in this case, 3xing the production output is pretty huge.
It's definitely worth the extra 9K difference.
Yeah.
And we have people with these 150s that are running them 10, 12 hours a day, every day. And that's where, even if this is a little slower than a 2-head Chinese printer, it really makes it up just by, it's always going.
Yeah, and the other thing that I like about the Mimaki is I think the DTF world for the most part has been the folks that like to tinker, like to experiment, like to really get their hands in and kind of mess with stuff. And I think what this Mimaki's opening up is the designer kind of creative type of folks that really have an eye for design and wanting to create really unique and special garments, but they were a little hesitant dealing with kind of the maintenance stuff of some of the older printers. So this is finally a machine that I can confidently say to one of those creators, hey, you're only printing a couple days of the week. This thing's gonna work great for you. So really awesome. I've seen a couple questions come by. Where do we send the test prints? Jeremy at dtfsuperstore.com. So we are going to print some of you guys' stuff. We've got some of our own stuff we're going to print up on here in a little bit, but I do want to print some of your guys' stuff, especially if you've had a file that maybe the colors didn't come out maybe like you expected them to. That's one of the things the Mimaki is doing really, really well, is reproducing insanely good color, really deep, rich color, which is a lot of fun. So let's see, what else we got for questions right now before we get into it?
Another thing that's exciting about the Mimaki is banding. There's a lot less banding than you see in the Chinese machines, where, you know, after a few hours you might start getting banding in your prints. If you're selling transfers wholesale to people, maybe your guys are just running a whole roll at one time, and then you get done with the roll, you see a bunch of banding. You have a lot more peace of mind with the Mimaki that you're gonna get to the end of the roll and they're gonna look the same as they did at the beginning of the roll. Yeah,
well, and I've even noticed that here in our showroom as I've printed is sometimes, I mean, we're Arizona, so we struggle keeping our humidity up in this space, but this has been way less temperamental about humidity than our Mongoose machines. So it still can have that issue if your humidity is not in the right range, but it definitely is reduced. We've got a little screen for the nozzle recovery unit. I think it's the third one over, Jenny. We got a graphic that talks about like when the nozzle drops. There it is. So the Mimaki has built in the nozzle check unit, which basically what it does, it senses if one of the nozzles drops off. And then it tries to fix it. It tries to address that nozzle drop. It either flushes some cleaning solution through it or whatnot, but it tries to address it on its own. And then if it can't address it, it has their nozzle recovery system, which basically takes other nozzles near that nozzle and they kind of fill in the gap or kind of pick up the slack until a technician can actually address the problem. That's part of one of the reasons why you're getting less banding on these prints, is because if it detects something like that going on, it's kind of fixing it. It's addressing it on its own. So that's a huge piece. The new TFX, I always say TFX, TXF 300. That one, if we go back to a wide shot, you're going to see we've only got 6 cartridges here. The 300 was going to have 8 cartridges there, which is going to have your 1 cyan, 1 yellow, 1 magenta, 1 black, and then 4 white cartridges. And then obviously, as far as I understand, one print head's going to be CMYK and one's going to be the white one.
I'm pretty sure.
As far as we understand. Yeah. So because I know you guys want to see it print, I'm going to pull up a print here real quick, and we'll get that printing. Oh, FYI, I haven't started this thing. Now, Andy told me I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm brave. I want you guys to see what it's like to actually turn on the machine first thing in the morning. So this hasn't run since yesterday. So I just clicked on the power button, and it's going to take a moment to boot up. For the most part, it keeps it doing its own maintenance overnight, throughout the day. It kind of keeps stuff ready to go. So every time I've come to this machine, aside from needing to shake the white ink cartridges, it's ready to print just right from the get-go. So we're going to give it a minute to kind of boot itself up. You guys will see it, the carriage move around a little bit.
The email address is jeremy@dtfsuperstore.com.
Correct. Jeremy @DTF Superstore. Jenny, will you put my email in the comment thread down below? All right, so Mimaki came on. It said, shake the white ink cartridges. So all you guys are going to do is take this out and shake it about 30 or 40 times.
30 or 40?
30, if they say 30 or 40, I kind of all over the place on my timing on it. Hit enter, and then the other thing the Mimaki does is it detects the media width on its own. So you just need to tell it, detect the media width. It's going to pull the film in and out just to verify we've got film, and then it's going to run its little scan across to measure exactly how wide your film is. No more printing over the film onto your printer. Definitely if you had your margins set funny on some of the older Chinese machines, that happened on a fairly regular basis. All right, I'm going to pull up a graphic here that we're going to print, and we'll get it printing for you guys so you can see. And this is all I've done. Turned on the machine, shook the white ink, checked the, checked the media width, and now we're going to print. Take a second for me to load the graphic. We are using CADLink Digital Factory 11. There we go, and it should start printing in just a moment. And one of the things that I love about Digital Factory 11, some of you guys know that Mimaki has their own RIP software, Rasterlink, and we really prefer CADLink. Jenny, if you want to go to the actual print area so they can see it printing out. So one of the things I love about CADLink's Digital Factory 11 is their handling of the white underbase. The white underbase in Digital Factory 10 would do less white under the black. In Digital Factory 11, it does less white under all the darker colors. So as the color gets darker, the white underbase gets less and less. Obviously doesn't need to protect the graphic colors from the shirt below if it's a darker color. So it's producing a lot thinner transfers, a lot softer hand feels. And if any of you guys are using a current like 2-head or 4-head Chinese machine, like I said, you guys will notice that this is a little bit slower. But when you compare to any of the like DTG machines, any of the converted machines, you're going to notice this actually prints quite a bit faster than those do. Carol, are you running the new Mimaki? Does Carol Barnes have the Mimaki?
Yes, she does.
Cool. Carol, when did you get your Mimaki?
I think she got it like a month ago.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess everybody got it a month ago to a degree.
And she is on the list for a 300.
Nice. And there it is. All right, let's pop back to the widescreen. So let's talk a little bit about the speed again. So Jenny, if you want to pull up that graphic of the speed comparison. Awesome. So Mimaki is considering the TXF 150 to be the kind of the entry model, and then the TXF 300 to be the pro model. So they've got 22 pieces versus 66. I think with CADLink right now, we're getting about 30 square feet an hour on this one. Obviously, depending on your settings, you're going to get different speed results, depending on the pass modes, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're excited to see that kind of like 3x benefit there. Oh, I'm going to show you guys. Phil, would you bring your camera in real quick? I'm going to show you guys what the print actually looks like, so you guys got to see the back side of it. But this has a cutter built into it. And if I could remember to push the right button, I do this every time. There we go. Oh, come in tight. They don't need to see me. Oh, gotcha. So if you guys have had any kind of experience with DTF before, you know that blues, teals, those kind of colors are just troublesome. Sometimes they come out a little grainy. We'll do a print here in a little bit that's got a little more kind of bulk color going on with it. But yeah, we're super, super pleased. I think that's the most impressive thing for me has been the fact that you guys just saw me print in like 5 minutes from turning it on, not even. It took longer, I think, for CADLink to rip the file down than it did to actually start it up. But you can just walk up to this thing and print it, and the colors are just simply amazing.
Yeah, Carol says she runs hers 18 plus hours every day.
So the ultimate question for Carol. Carol, when do you sleep? No, I think it's awesome. So yeah, it might be a little bit slower, but with the reliability that it's got, it's going to make up for it in the very little downtime that it's got. And the really neat thing I love about the way that Mimaki has kind of designed their system is that it's very simple. A lot of the maintenance is done automatically, and then all you do is kind of do what it tells you. Like it'll tell you to shake the white ink, it'll tell you to replace the cleaning cartridge, it'll tell you what you need to do. And then another thing that Mimaki has done to kind of circumvent one of the major problems or difficulties in the industry is with especially the white printhead clogging. They kind of redid white ink circulation. So white ink, the way they circulate their white ink and what we're used to in most of the Chinese machines is you've got the printhead, you got the damper, and then the white ink circulation is happening above that damper someplace. And when the white ink settles, as the pigment does in the white ink, it settles down into that damper. And on the Chinese machines, if you do not flush that soon enough, you're pulling a little thicker liquid through that printhead. Whereas what Mimaki's done is they put their white ink circulation below the damper. So they're kind of keeping any of that thicker viscosity liquid from going through the printhead. So it's one of the other reasons that they're giving a system that's so much more reliable, and it's doing that white ink circulation kind of all the time, just off and on throughout the day to kind of keep everything working smoothly. Like I said, I've not had a single time that I've walked up to it and not been able to print, aside from shaking the white ink or whatever. All right. Do we have any other questions that have popped up?
We have one about the Prestige XL2. That is going to be comparable to like our Mongoose. I assume it's a two-headed machine from All American, I think. Sells that
Yeah, All American is who sells that thing.
Yeah, so that's going to be more comparable to our Mongoose line of printers. It's a two-head I-3200 print heads out of China.
Yeah.
And really the big difference is going to be reliability and the warranty too. This is bumper to bumper warranty on it. So if you have a print head go out or you do a head strike, whatever, we send somebody out, change the print head.
We had a question. We did a video on the ink system, the degassed ink that Mimaki's doing. We had a video on that, and somebody commented what is different between the Motu or the STS 724 and this machine. And I had to look because I wasn't familiar with that model. And they do have degassed ink cartridges. That's what they use. But as far as I could tell from their information, their white ink circulation is like the traditional ones where it's above the damper. Mm-hmm. Also, their warranty is a limited 1-year warranty. And there are a couple of things. If you check out that video on YouTube, I actually wrote a whole list of comments in there. But that's how it compares. There are some things that they did like this, but really what Mimaki kind of did was kind of came at it from a new perspective. Now they have used stuff that works, like their frame. Like this is very similar frame to some of their UV printers and things like that. So, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
But they definitely came at it, looking at it a whole new way, trying to solve some of those issues that kind of have plagued the industry as a whole.
And
So.
Mimaki inks, not only are they degassed, but Mimaki has a lot tighter quality control on their stuff. So you get a batch of ink from China and there's some variances, whereas Mimaki, they keep it pretty tight on their quality control.
Yeah. Ashley has a question. I noticed it looks like there's 2 empty ink slots. Yeah. So I think that there was in the back of their mind already an intention to eventually develop a 2 head. Obviously, they brought it out so quick. So that's kind of the same frame for the 1 and 2. So that's why there's 2 kind of empty slots here. When we get the 300, you'll see that all 8 of those slots are taken up. And then Carol has a question. My ink is telling me to change out and every time I have 200 milliliters of ink left on each bag, is this normal? So once the ink levels do get low, the Mimaki does ask you to weigh your cartridge because it's trying to verify that its ink usage is accurate with what's left in the bag that's inside the cartridge. So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, correct. Another thing to keep in mind, you're never going to run them 100% empty, and that's by design. It's just not good to run them empty and pull air or anything through the lines.
Yeah, but 200 milliliters is still a lot. So my guess is the machine's just asking you to verify the weight, and so if you don't have like a kitchen scale or something like that, you just want to pick one up, and all you do is literally weigh the entire cartridge, the plastic, the bag, everything. Just pull that out, sit it on a scale, and punch in that weight amount. And that's, again, the printer's just verifying that the amount that's expecting to be in there is still in there. So that's all it's doing, because it doesn't want to run that bag dry either. Jenny, has anybody sent a file over?
Yes.
Ooh, we got one.
So Wade asked about ink carts and size of them. The inks are all $68 for a cartridge. Colors are 600 milliliters and white are 500 milliliters.
We got a doozy. All right, I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to pull up the graphic file for you guys here in a second.
Jessica, the price on the printer by itself with install, setup supplies is right at $18,995. Complete package with the dryer is $24,000. That's for the single head. The new 300 model with 2 heads is going to be $27,995 with install and supplies, and $34,000 with the dryer and everything. And that includes somebody coming out, setting it up, installing it, training you on it. They're usually there 2-3 days to make sure you're up and running, got everything going. And that's a huge help for anybody that's new, or even people that just haven't used a Mimaki before. Having somebody come out, hold your hand for the first day or two, run some of your prints, and get you going.
All right, so looks like Ash Wheat. This is the graphic she just sent me. Now, the reason I'm pulling it up like this is because I'm going to check a couple things real quick. It looks like it's a half-toned image, which is super rad. I love the half-toned images, but one of the things that happens all the time, let me find out why it's kicking me around. One of the things that happens a lot of the time is we get a lot of semi-transparent pixels. Ooh, somebody watched the tutorial. Oh, that's gorgeous. I love it. So what I'm looking for, everyone, is like I'm checking for semi-transparent pixels, because if there's semi-transparent pixels, I don't care how awesome your printer is, it's not going to look great. This one looks awesome. So Ash, nice job. That is a great halftone image. So I'm going to pull that up, and I'm going to load that up on the printer, and we'll get it printing in just a second.
All right. While you're doing that, I'll answer the question about the continuous ink system. I don't foresee them doing that. Part of the magic of this and the reliability is the ink bags that are degassed and having an enclosed system. What we are pushing for and what some of their other models have is they will do a bulk system up on top that's got 2-liter bags down in the top of it. So that gives you a little cheaper ink and a little more run time in between changes. So I would say that's definitely probably going to come in the future, just judging by their Mimaki's other product lines. But I don't see there being a open system to where you pour ink in like you do on the Chinese. That just really cuts into the reliability of it. Oh, Kevin and Jacob are great. Kevin's a nice guy from Midwest. Got that calm demeanor, and he's been doing this for decades, so.
Okay, I'll come back on so Andy's not on here all by himself.
Oh, thank you. This is not my forte.
I'm loading the file. It's a 13 meg file, so it's going to take me a second to load it onto the thumb drive. But yeah, Wade, that halftone image looks awesome. So if you haven't checked it out, we did a video on halftoning images, and when I started doing the research for halftoning for our DTF boot camp, there was so much random information out there and a bunch of different ways to halftone, but they always left you, they always left with a bunch of semi-transparent. So basically every one of those little circles, the edges had semi-transparent pixels, which made it look like there was white peeking out of the sides. So it was always looking a little bit rough. So yeah, so that particular halftone image is great. So if you go on YouTube, watch that video. We show you exactly how to halftone stuff. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. All right, Jenny, did it finish transferring over? Oh, here. I'm gonna zoom in on the printer there. Beautiful. I think it's on there. All right, keep asking those questions so we can answer them while we're waiting on computers to move faster. So I'm really excited to see what kind of stuff people are going to produce moving forward as people start to really use these machines.
Are you going to print that?
Yep.
Is the heat press on?
Nope. I wasn't planning on pressing anything, but
If we have time, we could.
yeah.
Somebody's got to sneak over there.
All right, let's give this a try and see what it does. Date modified. All right, I'm going to rotate this back around. All right, let's print this thing and see what happens. Jenny, you want to throw on the printer cam? All right, should be getting ready to print here in just a second. Let's see how that thing looks. Now, Ashley, I'm guessing that I'm guessing you designed it to go on a black shirt. Is that correct? Or a gray shirt? I think either one of those would probably work for that one. Now, one of the things you guys will notice as you watch this coming out, probably on camera, you guys aren't seeing many of those halftone dots. My guess is, Ashley, you did a pretty high number in the frequency setting on Photoshop, which means your halftone dots are a little bit smaller. That's definitely something you guys can play with and should play with as you're figuring out what halftones look best for you. So yeah, so I tend to find that the 30 to 40 frequency when it's 300 pixels per inch works pretty good. So just let that thing keep printing. Actually, that thing does look amazing. Ashley, is this something you designed, or is this something you had somebody else design for you? Oh, that thing looks killer.
You have the white turned down quite a bit, or is that just because of the half-toning?
This is the half-toning. It makes it look like it's. I probably got a choke set at 3. With how small these half-tone dots are, I would probably do like maybe a 1 or 2 choke, because 3 we might lose some stuff, and that's what we might see. And we'll give that a try when we press it. I might have to reprint it again with maybe a 1 choke, or even maybe try a 0 choke, which is crazy, but it just might work. Hey Phil, you want to get in here real close so people can see? And Jenny, if you want to swap to Phil's cam so maybe they can see it a little bit closer. There we go. Yeah, so this shirt is going to feel fantastic because it's got tons of open space. AI generated optimized. That is fantastic. I love it. I love it, Ashley. Ashley, where are you based? Do you know Ashley, Andy? Ashley, where are you at? All right, and we're going to cut it. Now, you'll see, especially with the really, I think the half-tone dots being all over the image, that's why we're getting, maybe it's not quite as bright and vibrant, but again, we're not on the black shirt yet. So let's powder it and cure it and all the things. Hold on one second, let's cut this off. Pardon me while I step out of camera for a moment. Here, Phil, follow me and we're going to powder this. So we're actually releasing a video soon that talks about how quickly you can powder after you print something. And this particular design technique is the one caveat. So in our video, you guys are going to find out that we suggest you powder after about anywhere between like 90 seconds to 2 minutes, and 7 or 8 minutes is kind of the optimal window. But with half-toned images, you need to powder a little bit sooner because of all the little tiny dots. They tend to dry out quicker. So if you've not ever hand powdered before, Phil, get in here. You just put a decent amount of powder on it and you just kind of roll it back and forth. And then flick it to knock off all the excess. A lot of people are afraid to use a lot of powder and flick it hard. Don't be afraid. All right, and then we're going to put in the sheet curing oven and we'll wait a few minutes. Oh, is my voice very loud? I will move my mic down a little bit so I don't blow y'all out. I know I'm very loud when I talk, and I'm always afraid I'm going to be too loud. So, all right, let's give that a try. Okay, so while that's waiting, we do have a powder shaker that is designed to be married up with this. It's a 32-inch wide dryer shaker. We didn't use it or set it up today because I knew anything we were printing, we were just going to do kind of one-off prints. So yeah, the dryer shaker is not made by Mimaki. They don't make dryer shakers, but we had it specially made for the Mimaki. It's even color matched, so it looks just like the Mimaki. And I'm sure Phil's going to get a nice shot of it here in a second because he was just cleaning off a couple things we left on it. But yeah, so this dryer we had made specifically for the Mimaki printer. So 32 inches wide. It will handle both the single head as well as the double head. So both models will work with this dryer, and this dryer allows you to take full advantage of the print area, which is fabulous. All right, do we have any other questions while we're waiting on some of this stuff? Yeah, Eric, CADLink is fantastic. It's really one of the reasons why we chose to pair CADLink Digital Factory 11 with the Mimaki, even though they have their own RIP software. I think CADLink just does a lot of stuff to optimize everything, from optimizing layout to optimizing white ink, all that kind of stuff. We think it's one of the best RIP softwares out there. Also, you can do some color profiling on any of the printers, even the Mongoose and stuff like that. But we use the NIX color profiling add-on, the NIX color scanner, to really dial in your colors. So even though this does give a lot deeper, richer colors, it's still a good idea to ICC profile your stuff as much as you can. Warranty on both of the Mimakis, the 2-head and the single head, is a 1 year, basically bumper to bumper. If there's a problem and we need to send a tech out, that's covered in that 1 year warranty. Are there any options to extend that warranty, or is it just not a year? Not yet. Okay. And again, these machines have been out since January or July. Sorry, July. We really got our first hands on the Mimaki back in May when we did our last live stream. So we've had this now for a couple of months. We've been printing on it for all of our videos we've been doing. We pretty much print on this for all of them, and we've just been really pleased with it. I know that my video team that doesn't spend a lot of time printing has found it really, really easy to print on this machine, and yeah, it's been fantastic. If I'm running V10, should I upgrade? So I don't believe Digital Factory 10 works with the Mimaki, does it?
He's got a Mongoose.
Yeah. Oh, is the upgrade worth it if okay, so first stick with your Mongoose.
Really, the white is the difference.
The
right?
white underbase handling is the biggest difference. Maybe. that would be my answer. I think that, so when you think about kind of how the ink is laid down for those prints, the kind of white is kind of static, and then as colors get darker, they use more and more ink. So if you think about it, like if this is how thick your transfer is, and you go darker and darker, it keeps getting thicker and thicker. And with CADLink 10, it was only at the point that it printed black that it went to less white ink. Now with the way that it's doing it is as it gets darker, the white underbase shrinks. So it's kind of keeping a little more consistent thickness to that transfer. And it will give you overall a softer transfer because it's handling that white so differently. So is it worth the upgrade? I think so, especially if you are trying to optimize the thickness of those graphics so they feel as soft as possible. So yeah, I think that was a big upgrade they made. They made some other changes that I'm not as familiar with, but that white underbase alone was a huge upgrade for them. Warranty on the dryer. What's the warranty on the dryer, Andy?
It is 1 year. The only exclusion on the dryer is you have to pay travel if you want the tech to come out. Whereas the Mimaki, a lot of that's included. With the dryer, the travel isn't included, but parts are all covered. And
well, and would we allow them to do some work on the dryer?
yeah.
So if you are comfortable with doing some tinkering on the dryer, things like that, we will allow you to do that. Mimaki, they only want Mimaki certified techs working on it. Otherwise, you avoid your warranty and have all sorts of problems. So that's why we definitely want to keep Mimaki techs only, the dryer, because it's not made by Mimaki. We will allow you guys to service it on your own. And then if we do have to send a tech out, you just pay for that travel stuff. How's that transfer looking there, Phil? Open it up. Does it look like an orange peel?
It's hard to tell with the halftone.
It is. Okay.
It's really hard to tell.
Jenny, you want to switch to Phil's cam and we'll take a look at it and I'll show you guys what we're looking for. So yeah, one of the things that happens with when you're trying to find like that orange peel texture look, you're not going to see it on this because everything's half-toned. So if I look at it from the angle, I can still kind of see that there are little grains of adhesive powder on it. So we're gonna leave it cooking a little bit more. Our temp wasn't quite up to temp, or our oven wasn't quite up to temp yet when we started that. All right, anything else I can tell you guys about this while we're waiting on that one piece? Oh, will you go to the last PDF there, talking about the ink cartridge? This right here, the last PDF. You're good. All right, so Mimaki got some really cool eco certification on these printer cartridges because you don't throw away the plastic. With the Mimaki, and Sam's going to zoom in so you guys can see this next to the printout, but they use aluminum bags that have degassed ink in them. So you just open this up and you will see this little bag, and that's what ships to you. So when you order a new white ink for your Mimaki, it comes in a cardboard box that is fully recyclable, and all that's in there is this little bag. And you put this bag in, and then it reduces the waste a ton. As you can see, they got the Eco Passport certification. So if you are environmentally conscious, they have done everything they can to try to reduce any kind of weight or unrecyclable waste from their cartridges. So pretty awesome that they were doing that. All right, I'm going to walk back over and check that print again, see where we're at. My video team is very concerned of me burning myself because I have done it in a few videos, so. Yeah, I think we're okay. All right, let's head over and press this thing. $290, perfect. Lay it down if you want to get closer, Phil. All right, we're going to press for 20 seconds. Set it temperature at 290, and then with halftones, whenever you're peeling a halftone film, even if it is a hot peel, I suggest letting it cool a little bit. And then I'm also going to suggest the rub technique that I saw one of our power users use. So basically what you do is you just take a second shirt and kind of rub it across the graphic, which, grab me a shirt, Andy. Thank you. So you basically just take the shirt and you kind of rub it across the graphic. And this is a company that does like hundreds of DTF shirts a day. So I saw them do that, and I'm like, oh, it must be a good thing to try. So I am going to let this cool off slightly before I peel it. Sorry, Phil, I put that out of the camera. All right, and then let's give it a peel. That looks fantastic. My goodness. Ashley, that looks really, really awesome. Now, one of the things I'll point out, and hopefully Phil can get in here, if you see right in there, we've got a couple of the dots that are kind of missing from that. That is not uncommon when you halftone for some stuff to come off, especially because, like I said, we had our choke set at 3, which is 3 pixels. So any halftone dots that are small, 3 pixels or smaller, actually won't end up with any white ink behind it. So Ashley, that is a killer graphic. Like I said, what I probably would do is I would reduce my choke down as low as possible.
Yeah, it looked better in the lighting over there.
It did.
It's
It's also the camera.
2020 on the other camera. So.
We have a little
Come over
different
this
color.
one.
Okay, pop over this one. There
There's
you
the color.
go. All right, so Wade is asking about the boot camp. Jenny, will you pull up the boot camp info again? All right. So boot camp is once a month. We've got it on our website. We've got September and October's both scheduled. There is still room in the September class. We still got a few slots left. So we usually only take 10 to 12 at each class because we want everybody that comes to be able to print stuff, to ask questions, to get like some of that personal attention, because everybody's situation is slightly different, because not everybody's going to have the Mimaki, not everybody has our Mongoose. We have worked with people that have bought printers from all sorts of other companies, so we're happy to work with anybody that's in the DTF space. We want to help you guys out. So it is $199 per person, and that is per person. So if you've got 2 people coming, you just purchase 2 registrations. And then September and October are scheduled. We're still working out November and December dates since it's the holidays. Things kind of get a little wonky, so we're going to look at those dates. And then we are looking at doing some boot camps in York for our East Coast folks who struggle to travel out quite this far. So if there's no other questions, I think, let's see, any other questions?
There's one more about the speed.
Oh yeah, go for it.
The Mimaki 2 head is going to be roughly around the Mongoose speed. It's rated for a little bit higher speed, but we'll do a comparison when we get one in here.
Yeah.
Mid-September should be our first load of them, and we'll do a side-by-side speed comparison on that.
Yeah. As soon as we get our hands on it, we're going to test it because we like to test all of our stuff. We definitely don't. We try not to leave any stone unturned when it comes to testing stuff. So yeah. So Ashley, this was a great graphic. You're doing awesome work. If you wanted to maybe have a little more vibrance in some of the colors, so where they didn't dim a little bit, then you can play with adjusting your levels a little bit. And my video team's like, hold up the shirt again, Jeremy. So anyway, yeah. So if you guys ever have a question, feel free to drop us a note, comment, ask a question in the Facebook group, ask it on our YouTube channel, or send us an email, Jeremy@DTF Superstore. I'm happy to answer questions you guys have. And yeah, this was awesome. We're really, really excited about the 2-head Mimaki because it brings that reliability, but at a production speed. So thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We hope you guys have a great rest of your week and enjoy that fall weather that's starting to come out. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.
Don't forget the dab.
Why? I don't want to dab. I don't dab.